All right, how are we doing?
All right.
How's it going?
Here we are, looking at our new room.
Well, just changed the angle of the camera.
All the people who've been watching for months will be like, oh, now. I hate it.
I know. It's not the same.
It's not the same since they changed the angle of the room.
To be honest, they probably hated it anyway. Let's be honest.
He's watching a habit,
Right,
force of habit.
Right, let's get straight into it because we've got a lot to talk about this week.
We have we could run risk of running over at this one already.
But yeah, so we're going to talk about guitarists. There's been a thing running for the last couple of weeks. Was it last week?
Yeah, it was the other day. It was I think it was Planet Rock shared a feature that Rolling Stone did. Rolling Stone's an American.
I think so. An American publication.
That's in it. The top 250. I mean, it's a hell of a list, really. I mean, you normally see top 10 or top 100, top 50, top 250.
I'd have thought I'd have been in the top 250.
Yeah,
it's too much.
I wouldn't be in the top 250,000 fucking guitar players. Top 250 guitar players of all time. Which is you know. Anyway, Gary Moore was omitted from the list.
He was.
I mean. Yeah. We could have we could have like a 30-minute pre-rant and then do
the podcast.
Then do the prog. I mean, what were you thinking, Rolling Stone? I mean, I can only imagine that was a massive oversight.
It must be. I mean,
it's you know. It's
250.
Gary Moore doesn't even rank in the top 250 guitar players.
It's ridiculous. It's a colossal oversight, that is, you know.
It is, isn't it?
It's staggering, really.
Even if you're not a fan, he's got to be top 50, hasn't he? Top 30. He's got to be, you know, even if he's not your club, even if the guy writing it hates Gary Moore.
Well, but the person, whoever's compiled that list, obviously can't. Well, I imagine it's been a few people compiling the list, which makes it even more baffling.
To be honest, looking at the list, it looks like the same person that's compiled every list for the last 50 years, to be honest.
Nothing's changed, has it?
But there you go. So what we thought we'd do today is we'd compound the
real list.
The real list.
The real list.
Compile the real list.
Of 250... No, we're not doing it. Not going to do
What we're going to do is bass players.
Yeah.
Not only joking, not bass players out there, I'm only joking. Well, we decided between us, I'm going to pick 5, and he's going to pick 5, and we're going to go at it.
That's what we're going to do.
Have a few reasons and a bit of a discussion about, you know, I don't know if any of mine were in the list, to be honest. Possibly. I'd like to think so.
I had a quick scan.
The top 10.
And to be honest, like, it's the usual stuff.
Was Jimmy Page in there?
Of course he was, yeah. Jimmy Page. Jimmy Page. Jimmy Page. I love, like, you know what? I don't mind. I don't. We joke about it. We joke about the Jimmy Page and the Led Zeppelin kind of obsession amongst classic rock fans.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't. I really don't have a problem with it. It's
he does.
It's the when the other people, some of whom we're going to mention, are overlooked in favour of it, and you get that kind of that god status is sort of
it's a little bit.
I don't know. Doesn't really sit well with me.
I mean, to me, when you're compiling a list like that, there are a lot of factors you've got to take into account, isn't there? There's ability. There's, songwriting. Yeah,
well, I've compiled this list based on
your list.
More purely, or I say my list. So, but we're going to pick a handful each. Gonna like a handful each, and then just bring up, you know, say why we think of them. But I've kind of favoured more on the guitar side of things rather than the songwriting.
Right. Yeah,
even though that does factor in on. Well, no, but that's not to say it has to be
to be honest,
purely technical.
One of mine is probably purely songwriting.
Well, to be honest though, they're one and the same, aren't they? Really, for me, you know, like the songwriting is the choice of notes.
Well, let's go into it.
Go on, let's go.
My number 5 is.
Go on then, you go for it.
They're all going to switch off. I swear. You could probably you could tell me who my number 5 is.
Is it Noel Gallagher?
It's Noel Gallagher.
Oh, no.
To be honest, right, you probably haven't had to write yours down because you're clever. I'm thick.
I have. I've just written them down over there. So
see, I wrote down Noel Gallagher, John Squire, and matey boy Craddock from his bloody name. What's it called? Steve Craddock from Ocean Colour Scene.
Oh right, yeah. Some iconic riffs between them.
Well, the Squire and Craddock, you know, them Ocean Colour Scene and Stone Roses, them riffs are like you know, I was listening to some Scotian Coliseum before, 100 Miles I City and all that, and the day we caught the train, all them songs, and they're like the mega songs.
They are
aren't
good
they?
songs. Yeah.
And Noel Gallagher, for me, love him or hate him, I've always said the guy has written so much with so little. And he had such an impact on people playing the guitar. How many people picked up the guitar and learned Wonderwall?
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That is a
well.
That's a statement, isn't it?
When I had guitar lessons, one of the very first lessons I had was "Stand by Me." You know, like I did at the time.
The night.
Not that one.
Boom, boom, boom.
Darling.
That's it.
It's
an odd one.
The Oasis "Stand by Me."
Yeah. Was it
Was
really?
was that a B-side as well? Was that even on an album?
By me.
I'm sure it was a B-side. I don't know. Anyway,
the way it's gonna be. Oh, you get me going.
But so that I mean that, and I was learning off a real. It was a guy called Terry Kenner, sadly passed. But he was unbelievable player, jazz licks, all that kind of stuff. You know, he kind of looked down on rock a little bit. You know.
Yeah.
But I remember, it was Changing Man, Paul Weller.
Steve Craddock is Paul Weller's guitar player.
Is he really?
Yeah, he is now, because Ocean Coliseum do a bit, but he's been his long time guitar player. Steve Craddock.
That's where the right, cool.
Yeah, go see.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a different world. It's not your classic rock, you know. But I'd agree. I mean, and he's had a bit of a renaissance amongst guitar players recently. Noel Gallagher, when he's appeared on That Pedal Show, a massive YouTube channel on Facebook. I'm sure on YouTube. I'm sure any guitar players.
I've seen a lot of him on guitar-based stuff. Now you mention it, over the last few months, he's been appearing on like. He did an thing for Epiphone and a thing for like, I think he might have done something for Fender amps or something. But he's been doing a bit of guitar stuff.
He knows more than people. I would say know more. It's not like it's some sort of competition or anything. But you know, he knows his gear. He's not some idiot that just turns up and goes, oh, you know.
It's funny because when he talks about guitars and his guitar playing, he's the total opposite of everything else. He says he's like a bit of a big-headed tit when it comes to everything else. But when it comes to his guitar playing, he's very self-deprecating.
Yeah. Well,
he's like, oh, I'm crap. I don't.
I think he kind of. He has to be. I mean, you know,
he
ain't gonna. He's not gonna be busting out any kind of, you know.
Doesn't know any tapping, does he?
But
yeah,
you know, he only has to turn around and look at the size of his house probably and go, well, I didn't need any of that.
But anyway, there we go. Noel Gallagher.
Yeah. You mentioned a couple of others there. John Squire, I think, is very underrated as a guitar player. I mean, you look at him. He is basically like the 90s Jimmy Page, really.
Yeah, well, he's a massive Zeppelin fan, wasn't he? And I think that was the problem,
that.
to be honest, with a lot of the people he was in bands with. He was that loud and that.
Yeah, it was the John Squire show, wasn't it?
It really was, yeah. But yeah.
Seahorses, great album.
There you go. Yeah, Seahorses. There you go.
That's a guitar. That's like it's not like the Stone Roses at all. It's like the guitar's front and center on that album, isn't it? Yeah,
it's a great album. That.
Brilliant, really good.
Love is the law.
Should I do one?
Yeah, go on. Yours your number 5.
Go on, then. There's no order really. It's Michael Schenker. I've got to go with Michael Schenker.
See, they've all switched back on again now.
Well, we haven't actually. You might have some overlap in this list, by the way. But...
there might be. There might be. I'm not sure.
So, Michael Schenker, obviously, huge fan. UFO in general, MSG stuff. Just really tasteful, really. You know, we mentioned about the songwriting that he can write riffs. He's written some of the most iconic riffs,
absolutely,
of all time. And somehow they're simple, but somehow sound like Michael Schenker. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
you
can hear it, play a couple of chords, and it sounds like him. Same with his honourable mention to his brother Rudolph as well.
Yeah,
Crazy Rudolph.
Crazy Rudolph.
Crazy Rudolph. Yeah.
Yeah.
But same sort of thing. Obviously runs in the.
I've seen him at a Hard Rock Hell event years ago, and he does that thing. He loves it. He leans over, and he's like big smile, and he's not concentrating on what he's doing, and he doesn't like he's doing anything, but it's just like so easy and effortless, isn't it?
Pure feel, Michael Schenker, and you to sort of hear him play, and he plays with such a dry kind of tone. It's dead simple. Yeah. He uses like JCM 800s, but he uses like the 2-channel versions, which are actually, I love them. They're amazing. Every time I've used them on like a backline, I was going like, I need to get one of them.
Yeah.
But it's a dead simple setup, and it's purely about the way he plays.
The way he plays. And it's amazing. Yeah. There's a great video if you want to check. I've got a few videos for you to check out if you don't know a lot of these guitar players. There's that great video on YouTube of him rehearsing in Brighton in like a cellar.
Yeah.
And I think it's before that big gig they used to put on in London, the High Voltage Festival. I think he's got together with the drummer out of Scorpions and the bass player out of Scorpions, and there's him
Herman
and
Rarebell,
Dougie White shows up late to the practice, and it's in like a dingy cellar practice
Something like
room.
this.
And if you can find it on YouTube, it is a killer video to watch. You play about 5 or 6 songs, and it's ace.
Just a camera in the side of the room.
Oh,
It's like loud and
it's obnoxious, and the cabs are chained to the wall. Yeah, it's brilliant.
that kind of
video,
place.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, I do love that. And he's just there noodling away, and it's that when you go, oh yeah, he really is class, you know.
Yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
And he's had his personal demons as well, and overcome them. That time we were at that award ceremony, he was actually waiting for his cab. We were on that late that night. He was leaving the event, and I was gutted. I was like, bloody hell, Michael Schenker's leaving. And he was in there with his wife, girlfriend, or whatever, and they sort of put him in our dressing room while they were waiting for a taxi. My guitar's in there, and we're about to play, and I'm like, I need to go in.
Ironically, a white V.
And get my white V. I was like, here we go. I like this. No, he didn't mention it. I was like, hey, Michael.
Yeah.
Get out. Get out your dressing room. It's like,
yes, Michael, I will.
I was like, yeah, all right, mate. Yeah,
absolutely.
I will. But whatever, he could do whatever he wants, you know.
He absolutely can, yeah.
In my book, whatever. He could have smashed it up, and I'd have been like, oh, cheers, Mike. Thanks for that.
Right, next.
Go on then.
My number 4. Well, it's a bit of a. I did say he transcended the list on the other list, so I said Gary Moore.
It is Gary Moore, right?
Moore.
Okay.
He had to be on the list. There's no particular order, really.
No, there is.
Gary Moore has to be on the list for me.
Gary Moore, absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
probably the greatest, most versatile guitar player.
I sort of went back. I sort of went backwards with Gary Moore. Like, I listened to the blues stuff he did because that was my introduction to him through my guitar teacher. Still got the blues, Parisian Walkways, all that kind of stuff. Cold Day in Hell, and my dad had the Blues Alive album, which is like a sort of at the Hammersmith Apollo or whatever it was back then, in like the early 90s, and he's got the big brass section and the backing singers and everything, and it's just like. It's like furious blues, do you know what I mean? I've never heard anyone play blues like that, where he's playing it, he's approaching and he's playing all the blues scales and the blues notes, but he's playing it like a heavy rock kind of guy.
Yeah.
Brute force in it. His technique is appalling, really, from a technical point of view.
But it doesn't matter because it's all about the sound that comes out of the speakers, isn't it?
It's all the better for it, in my opinion. It's like he's doing things with his fingers that like just shouldn't be done. He like even plays... with just his, excuse the expression, with just his first and second finger, he's doing scales, you know, with them two, and it's just brilliant, you know. He's just, I love him. I love the guy. Cranky old sod as well. Apparently,
there's just something. There's just something about him. He almost looks like he shouldn't be there, but he is, you know, like you say, he's never looked much like a sort of what you would imagine a rock god to look like. You know, he's kind of this. Yeah. He just looks like some bloke down the working men's club, doesn't he? You know.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
You know.
Well, he probably was. Well, in between gigs,
he probably was, and he's just the best of the best, isn't he?
Yeah. He like. Well, I think he even acknowledged that himself. He was always uncomfortable in the 80s. You know, all those albums, Corridors of Power, and he's like some sort of 80s rock god, you know.
See him in that bloody like trench coat.
Exactly.
He's like
stupid outfits.
He's thinking, what the fuck am I doing?
And he's obviously been sort of made to do this and have this image. Yeah. And then when it all sort of the 80s finished and he went to the blues, and no one thought it was ever going to work.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's another thing, isn't it? That's another aspect you got to look at when you're picking your great guitar players is not only their ability and the songwriting, but what they have done for the guitar. Do you know what I mean? Like, the reason Hendrix always gets the number one is because he, like, reinvented the guitar for guitar music, you know. Despite
the fact he was only around, really, for a few years on the you know, the international kind of scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. To think, like, since COVID to now, Jimi Hendrix would have sort of been and gone in that time,
that's mad,
you know.
And the impact he had on it. I just reinvented guitar playing, and that's why he's such a visionary, that's the word, isn't it?
So Gary Moore gets a strong kind of mention on this list, really, because he
does.
One of my biggest regrets is I only saw him one time, and that
the Preston.
It was.
Was it in 2007?
It would have been about that.
Because somebody said, actually, when I commented on that Planet Rock post, somebody said, I was working at Preston Guildhall in 2007 when he played. And I went, I'm pretty sure Adam and a lot of our mates were there watching that.
It might have been, you know what, I think it was even earlier than that.
Oh, right, I see.
I think because I would have been, how old was I then? In 2007. I'm totally losing track.
40.
I'd have been about 12. No, I was probably about 18 then. So, no, I think...
you got angry at somebody in the crowd?
I think I was a bit younger. I don't know.
I've heard stories about him.
Yeah, he did it. Oh, yeah, I think he's lamped a few people. Like,
do you know what? When we played a gig years
yeah.
ago in the Canver Inn, and somebody squared up to me when we were singing, and oddly, all that was going through my head was that story
about Gary Moore.
About Gary Moore not standing for any shit and getting on with his show.
Well,
chase somebody out of the venue or something.
That's where the scars on his face came from. He was glassed. Like,
right, okay.
I don't know the circumstances surrounding it, but yeah, he was...
Don't take no shit. We're Irish, isn't he?
Well, the generalisation there. You know.
Well, you know.
Just fight. He's just an angry yob, really.
Stick up for themselves, don't they? It's good, isn't it?
No, Gary Moore, like you said earlier, could probably talk all day about him. But yeah, I wish I'd seen him more. But the good thing is, he was fairly prolific even in the last sort of like years he was alive, putting out live DVDs and that, and they're all really raw and unedited. You know, it's really
The Messiah Will Come Again.
Yeah,
there's a video of him on YouTube playing that solo, and it is absolutely bloody mind blowing. Yeah, mind blowing.
And he's always overlooked with his Thin Lizzy. He did a lot more in Thin Lizzy than. I think he's acknowledged, really.
And the other little supergroup he had going on with Cozy Powell and what's that? Back on the Streets, is it on that video? Phil Lynott and Matey Boy out of Lizzie, the other guitar player. Fucking head's gone. Bloody
Snowy White.
No, the guitar player in Thin Lizzy. Bloody hell, Black Star Riders guy.
What, Ricky Warwick?
No, the guitar player.
Oh, Scott Gorham.
Scott Gorham. Bloody, sorry, Scott. He's not watching this. I don't apologise.
Sorry, Scott.
Yeah, I fucking got his name. It's just my brain's gone. Yeah, Scott Gorham and Cozy Powell and that is amazing. But yeah. Anyway, Gary Moore.
All right, sticking on the blues then. Well, I mentioned another one quickly. Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Stevie Ray Vaughan. I was going to go on my list, but
I'm sure he'd have been on the list.
If I'd written a few more, he would have been on there.
He's just, in terms of just pure kind of like excitement in a sound, you know, it's just so cool, you know what I mean? It's
powerful,
probably so brilliant. You just have to listen to it and go, oh my god, I can only imagine what it was like hearing that in the 80s, you know, Texas Flood.
You can he's another one that he has absolutely got his own sound. You can do the blindfold test, can't you? You know, with him, and you'll know who it is.
Oh, there's so many videos and articles on the web. You know, how do you get that Stevie Ray Vaughan sound? You know,
they love it, don't they?
Yeah,
it's the old vintage tube screamer thing, isn't it?
Why I'm using the exact same amp, the same pedals, same guitars. Why doesn't it sound like Stevie Ray Vaughan?
Because he ain't got a fucking pink cowboy hat on.
Yeah,
and a raccoon scarf, smoking a pipe.
Bloody David Crockett hat.
You know, yeah. But yeah, no, the absolute fire he plays is unreal, isn't it? Yeah, amazing. Right, anyway, next one, Stevie Ray Vaughan, come on. Bit of a curveball here. Well, I got a couple here that, you know, they kind of come together here. I was watching some videos. Glenn Campbell.
Right, okay.
Glenn Campbell and a guy called Jerry Reed.
Jerry Reed, yeah, country.
The country guy.
Yeah,
well,
country guy, yeah.
He's the guy out of Smoking the Bandit.
Right.
Drives the truck. The snowman.
Oh, right. Didn't know that.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. He did Eastbound and Down. Eastbound and Down. Well, yeah, there's some videos on YouTube of Glenn Campbell and Jerry Reed playing together, and it's just mind-blowing. Playing like country.
Right.
Now, you see, we're getting to the proper guitar players, isn't it? These are the guys that should be in the top 10, you see. Yeah.
Well, this is it.
Now, I know where Adam's list is going to go here, you see. Have you got any country guys in your list?
I actually don't. I don't.
I thought that's where our crossover.
You know what? I'll mention it. I think Brad Paisley currently now is one of the best guitarists in the world. He's just unreal. Like pound for pound, he could stand up and he could play rock, he could play country, jazz, whatever.
Well, he plays that. They do that Game of Thrones thing, don't they, on YouTube?
That is an amazing.
And everybody's there. Scotty and
Nuno Betancourt, Tom Morello.
Yeah, that's it.
And Brad Paisley's kind of late.
That's the best bit.
I know.
They're all playing, aren't they? Noodling. And the thing is, I think they're all playing like Game of Thrones themed guitars. And he just walks in with a Brad Paisley guitar. Yeah. and just plugs in.
He's got a Telecaster anyway, and it's just like you could tell, actually, I'm probably going to get a bit shit here, but I think there's definitely a sense of like, what are you doing here?
A little bit, and then they all take a turn at doing a solo, and then it gets to Brad Paisley, and then everybody's like,
yeah.
Fucking hell, what's the cowboy doing?
Because you sort of expect, in America, I imagine, anyway, Brad Paisley's he's a megastar, but he's more known for his country ballads and, Well,
it's them guys. Like, well, I'll go myself with Glenn Campbell. Like, he played. I watched a documentary about him, and he played for everybody. He was like a session player.
Yeah, he was.
And there's some footage of Glenn Campbell playing on YouTube. It's just mind blowing. The thing that gets me about country players is it blows my mind. I'm not a guitar player at all, but it's the clean playing.
Yeah,
it's the clean playing, and it's the playing with the fingers.
Chicken picking, yeah.
It's just like some of them have got a pick, and they're playing with the fingers.
They call it.
Fucking hell,
they call it like hybrid picking. So Brad Paisley does that a lot, and it's impressive. Like
it's seriously cool. Like, and they're giving it, and this sounds getting a workout as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all like double stop kind of. Danny Gatton was a big.
Oh, there you go.
Is that? Well, sorry.
Have I
jumped?
No,
sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. Well, we can gloss over Danny Gatton. I think he's. I read a lot of stuff about him online, and he is widely regarded by the pros as the best.
Yeah, he's like your favourite guitarist's favourite guitarist.
I think Steve Vai, Joe Bonamassa.
I think Bonamassa actually had lessons from him when he was dead young.
I think you're right. Yeah. But he's amazing. Playing like banjo licks on his Telecaster is just amazing.
Just like you said, it's how clean it can be, and
mistakes,
and it's powerful. Like when it's so clean and so precise and so fast, it really takes some beating. But Danny Gatton, go check out some licks if you don't know him.
Yeah.
Unreal player, nice guy as well, total gentleman. So sadly, I think he
killed
himself.
Suicide. He did, yeah. Committed suicide in the 80s, I think.
I think it was a bit. Well, I think it must have been a bit later than that.
Was it?
Well, if Joe Bonamassa.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. Was it 90s? Yeah, I was watching some stuff from '89, I think, this morning. Yeah, so you're right. Yeah, it will have been 90s, won't it?
Yeah, again, like common theme. Stevie Ray Vaughan sadly passed long before his time.
Yeah.
Gary Moore, even I know he lived a bit longer, but. He was in his 50s, so it's hardly.
I remember getting that. I remember hearing that news. We were recording Fire It Up, I think, weren't we?
We were recording our very first album,
in 2010, something like that.
I remember hearing about it. I think I was on the toilet at the time when I read it.
That's what he would have wanted.
It's what he would have wanted.
It's what Gary would have wanted.
Yeah. So there we go, Danny Gatton.
Amazing.
I'll have another one then. So we'll steer things back a bit to more sort of classic rock territory. Not the most well-known guitarist, Steve Rothery of Marillion.
He was.
So basically, definitely kind of a following on sort of Dave Gilmour's kind of footsteps into the 80s. That kind of playing, where it's all about the choice of note and the textures of the song and the way it can just, to use an example, everyone's heard Kaylee, haven't they? Like, so that riff at the beginning, the dang, dang, down, dang, 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 and it's like the echoes and the delay. He's kind of using it like Andy Summers did, It's like the guitar becomes a rhythmic kind of thing, like the edge. But he blended that with just sublime lead playing, real kind of classy solos. I mean, just reel off a few Marillion songs to check out if you want an introduction to Steve Rothery's playing. So look at Sugar Mice. Everyone's heard, I'm sure, Lavender. Lavender. There's that lick at the end of Lavender, and some of the later stuff as well. It's not all like, I think he's kind of innovated more post Fish, into like the 2000s and stuff. There's a song called Neverland. Just amazing. Look, just an incredible player, uninvited guest. Season's End, Easter, loads of songs. But Steve Rothery, love it, and I love the way he plays a Squire. He plays a Squire Strat.
Does he?
He's always played a Squire Strat. Yeah.
Wow,
it's smart. It's smart as fuck.
I like him even more now. Yeah. What a legend.
Just a thing with a. He's got like active pickups in it, and it just sounds like him. Again, it's just another guitarist that just has to play a few notes in it, and it sounds like him.
It's amazing, isn't it? That is such a that's amazing. It's these guitar players, like, they just it makes me sick sometimes when you don't see him in these big long lists. It's like...
Yeah, I bet he wasn't in. I bet he wasn't in.
And then there's no reason why he shouldn't have been in, is there, really?
Absolutely
It's crazy.
No.
I'd have to check it out. So how many have you got left? One?
I have 2.
Oh, go on. We'll have another one of yours.
No, I've only got one, actually. I've only got one. Yeah.
It might be the same one.
Go on, then.
It won't be.
Go on.
Same at the same time.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Mark
Richie
Knopfler.
Blackmore.
No! To be honest, I purposely picked ones that I thought you
wouldn't pick.
Yeah. And I thought I would have picked Blackmore, to be honest.
You would, yeah.
Yeah. Well, if I'd have picked like another 4, it would have been Blackmore would have been in there without a doubt, definitely.
Yeah. Knopfler. I mean, that again. Talk about a sound.
Oh, amazing. Well, it's the same, isn't it? It's kind of country. He's sort of country rock, isn't it? He's did
folk.
all that stuff with Tammy Wynette and Chet Atkins, who's another legend guitar player, and he should be top of the list, really, shouldn't he? Chet Atkins, these people. But yeah, he did a lot of country stuff, didn't he? He plays he picks like that.
Yeah, well,
doesn't use a pick, just uses his fingers. Just amazing.
It's the whole Brothers in Arms,
Oh yeah. Well,
that kind of
it kind of works for me because when I was a kid, that was all my dad listened to in the car. So that just gets in your brain, doesn't it?
Clean as well, though. Clean player in a time when high gain and 80s kind of shredding was
absolutely.
the thing.
That's a good point. Yeah, in the they were one of the biggest bands in the world, weren't they? Dire Straits in the 80s, which goes against everything really that the 80s was about. I suppose it was kind of a pop rock band, really, aren't they? Sort of very catchy songs, just amazing. I think Brothers in Arms, a song, is the greatest, is the best solo ever. Like myself, they always say that. What's this Floyd song that they always say? Comfortably Numb, is it?
Yeah.
Pa.
Yeah.
That's what I say. Pa.
I like Comfortably Numb, but yeah, I wouldn't put that in. I wouldn't even get in the top 10 if I'm honest. And that's not knocking it. It's amazing, but
anyway,
there's better out there.
Let's talk about the main man.
Go on then, Richie Blackmore.
Hey,
so
he's not Jimmy Page, is he?
Well, this is the thing where I get wound up the most when it comes to Page, because Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple were the like titans of 70s, early 70s rock. I know you had Sabbath and like Pink Floyd, but in terms of like classic rock, before it became sort of metal and all that sort of stuff, yeah, Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple were always sort of like there and there, I think. And in my opinion, Deep Purple just absolutely just rinse them. If I'm honest, they just do, and largely down to Blackmore, and he's just like, he's pure rock star. That was my first introduction to like, holy shit, what am I looking at here?
First record I ever bought was Rising.
Well, yeah.
From a car boot sale. So yeah, and looked at the pictures of him and I was like, who's that guy? And he's flipping black cape and his stovepipe hat or whatever.
Sideburns out here.
And it's like, that guy is so cool.
Yeah, and then he's just the technical ability, real kind of a touch like no one else. He really just knew his instrument inside out, and just little things he used to do. Like I love this the smashing. I know Townsend and all that did it first, really, but Blackmore kind of like perfected the art of that.
He made it a thing. It was almost like a song in itself, wasn't it? It was like elegantly smashed.
Yeah,
his
it was.
guitar,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
And it'd like smash it and then put it back on, play a few notes, and it's like blah, and then like tune it a little bit, and then be like, and then go to his tech and get another one, and then put it through the amp.
It was almost like an experiment to see what sounds it could get, not just about smashing the guitar up, wasn't it?
But yeah. From like 1969 or whatever the first Deep Purple album was to, well, right the way till now, really. I know he's playing a lute or whatever, but a nude.
Smashing that doesn't have the same effect, does it really?
It just splinters, smithereens. But no, he absolutely just top of his game. Whatever he did, really, everything he touched, solid gold. I want to write medieval kind of stuff. Right, let's do that. Let's get Dio on board, do that.
Yeah,
I want to start writing pop. Right, Graham Bonnet, come on, let's do that. I want to start doing 80s cheese, and then
let's get on that.
Yeah, and he just excelled at all of it. So yeah, I'll sit and debate anyone face to face about the Page Blackmore thing. But anyway, these lists are a load of bollocks, aren't they? Really, let's be honest.
A lot of shit. No one cares. It don't matter, does it?
It doesn't matter.
It's all, subjective. Subjective is the word. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think. So, but yeah, let us know in the comments. Let us know what you think, if you agree with some of our list, or if you want to check some out, or what you think of some of the videos you found on the guitar players we've mentioned, or who are your favourite guitar players, or who should we have? What videos should we have a look for? I love going on YouTube with something to find and finding new, particularly. I love watching, guys at the top of the game, guitar players, drummers, and bass players, and all that stuff. It's all right.
Ignore that.
It's I love it. I love all that. So let us know. Let us know what you think. Who are your top 5? It's all good.
Yeah, I think it's been a lot of fun to talk about that. And what even if these lists do omit the likes of Gary Moore, in a way, his omission has created much more kind of interest and more talk about the guy than if he was at number 167. Do you know what I mean?
No, I agree, yeah.
So if he was in the list, it'd have been like, oh. But now he's not in the list.
It's like everyone's on about Gary Moore.
Everyone's on about Gary Moore because he's not on the list. So it's cheers, Rolling Stone.
Don't big G a further.
I'm assuming you did that on purpose.
Yeah. They knew.
Yeah.
Oh, they knew.
But what's the deal with putting Kirk Hammett and James Hetfield in the same number? They did that, didn't they?
Did they really?
Yeah, they lumped them together
my God.
like a sort of a joint thing. That's a bit lame.
You've got 250 spaces.
They're probably the biggest rock band in the world of all time, maybe. And the kind of they can't even
see if I go on that list. The Machine Gun Kelly's on there, and Kirk and James have to share a spot.
I don't think he will be.
Happy.
I'm sure you'll be able to find someone who you'd go, who the hell? what is that?
What are they doing on here?
List? Yeah. Cack. Sure, just cack. I don't want to read the list because it'll just make me mad. So
they're rubbish. It's a lot of shite in it, really. Let's be honest.
But yeah, thanks for joining us.
Like and subscribe, wherever that is, and we might see you next week. See you later.